Hello everyone, welcome to the editorial analysis of the Shankar IAS Academy, and today's date is 13th of March 2025. So these are the topics for discussion for the mains article. So the first article, welcome gesture from the Hindu, discusses about the new initiatives done by the Election Commission of India. Next article titled The Dangerous Illusion Caused by the Development Rankings from the Hindu again discusses about the criticisms related to the Human Development Index. So without any delay, let's get into the articles discussion one by one along with the mains practice question. So look into the news. Today's editorial article from the Hindu talks about the Election Commission of India's new way or new approach towards the elections. So here first, the Election Commissioner of India have invited all of the parties belonging to a country India, major of the parties, to have a co-head meeting and to discuss about the consequences and future of the election. So here this gesture has been proven to be one of the welcoming gesture, because here we can address a lot of issues, especially a lot of opinions given by the opposition party leaders, and also we can bring in consensus with the current government as well as with the other parties to address a lot of the issues. So here let us see what the article discusses. So before that, this is the main practice question. Ensuring transparency is a key to making democracy successful. In this context, discuss the measures that can be taken to ensure transparency in the electoral process. So I asked the aspirants to put in their framework for this this question, and also let's see a framework for it. First, we should know who has been elected as the election commissioner. So here Shri Ganesh Kumar has been selected as the Chief Election Commissioner, as the 26th Chief Election Commissioner of India on 19th February of 2025. So the rest of the election commissioners are Dr. Sukhbir Singh Sandhu, who is also an election commissioner, and also Dr. Vivek Joshi, who is also an election commissioner. So here Sukhbir Singh Sandhu has been elected on March 2024 and Vivek Joshi has been selected on 2025. So first let's have an overview about the Election Commission of India. So we have spoken about Election Commission of India for a very long period of time in a previous video. So there I will be providing a link, so you can go and check about the Election Commission of India in detail. But here we'll just see the important facts for us to understand the article. So here Election Commission of India is one of the permanent and a constitutional body, and looking at its constitution status, it comes under the article 324 to 329. So looking into the security of the tenure of its members, here the Chief Election Commissioner of the body can be removed by the impeachment, such as by the Supreme Court judge, and rest of the members, that is the two election commissioners of India, can be removed by the Chief Election Commission. So here the ECI, that is the Election Commission of India, comprises of 3 members. So here it comprises of 1 Chief Election Commissioner and it comprises of 2 election commissioners. Now looking into their financial independence, here they are taking expenses on from the consolidated fund of India and thus free from the executive control. Now looking into the powers and authority, so we all know they are one of the main bodies and permanent bodies to supervises the elections, implements the model code of conduct, which is a general code of conduct for conducting the elections in a fair and free manner, and it can disqualify the candidates. So these are the powers and authority of Election Commission of India. Now I hope that there has been an overview about the Election Commission of India. So now let's move on to the article. So here, as I told before, the new Chief Election Commission of India has been inviting a lot of leaders of the parties to have a consensus and have discussion on the various issues related to the elections and bringing in solutions. So we need to know what are the benefits of this move first. First, it ultimately strengthening the electoral process. Here, it brings in refining of the election policies and management. Thus, there is timely management of the election policies, and at the same time, we can check if the certain bodies are adhering the policies of elections, and also there is timely response to the people. Next, finally, restoring trust and credibility. Here it brings openness to criticisms, and it also reduces distrust and counter bias allegations. So I asked the aspirants to give a read about the article. There they would have discussed what all of the issues been uh, discussed and the challenges or criticisms being discussed, which we will also be seeing later. Next is addressing legitimate concerns. So here it's ensuring fair and free and transparent and effective solutions. Next, enhancing transparency and accountability. Thus, it improves the decision making process and it prevents misinformation through different kinds of media. Next, promoting a level playing field. So, level playing field, we all know that to ensure free and fair playing, so it everyone are accountable, thus ensuring equitable elections for all parties and there's no bias. And finally, adhering to the core principle of our country India, which is strengthening the democracy. So it brings in confidence to having free and fair elections for the people, as it's for the people and by the people ultimately. Now, first let us see few major reforms which has been happening since the independence on the Election Commission of India. So, first is the introduction of the electoral photo ID. So, electoral photo identification card. It was first implemented. It was first introduced in 1961 and it was implemented in 1993. So, it is similar to the voter ID. Next is lowering of the voting age in 1989 from 21 to 18. Next is becoming a multi-member ECA. So first it was a single member organization, but in 1990 it was changed to a multi-member multi-member committee, and then it was implemented in 1993. So since 1993 it has been as a multi-member committee. Next is introduction of the electronic voting machines, which was happened in the year 1998. And next is introduction of the voter verifiable paper audit trail system, VVPAT. First it was introduced in 2003 and it was implemented in 2019. Next major reform is the introduction of the nota, that is the none of the above, in the year 2010. Next, Aadhaar voter ID has been made to the linking of the election process in the year of 2017 and having in multiple registration dates, that is for voter registration introduction, which has happened in 2021. Also in 2016 there were introduction of the electoral reforms by the ECI. So there they brought in on a digital voting platform for the service voters, then having separate ballots for disabled people and for women, and there have been lot of introduction and changes in the 2016 electoral reforms. So I think this has been asked as a mains question in the year of 2017. So to enhance the quality of democracy in India, the Election Commission of India has proposed electoral reforms in 2016. What are the suggested reforms and how far are they significant to make democracy successful? So this has been a question in the year of 2017. And also in 2018 there was a question on the electronic voting machines, that is in the light of the recent controversy regarding the use of electronic voting machines, what are the challenges before the Election Commission of India to ensure the trustworthiness of the elections in India. So these are the mains question which has been answered, so we can know how important Election Commission of India is as a whole. Now let us see the major challenges which has been discussed in the article. First is having political pressure and autonomy concerns. So there has been biases been delivered by the different governing parties on the elections, and thus it brings down the democracy. Next is having money and muscle power in elections, that is having black money, then corruption money, and also involvement of criminals in the election process. So next issue can be electronic voting machine trust issues, as we have seen whether the votes are verifiable. Next is the having hate speech and polarization, such as bringing in communal rights as well as having caste based biases. Next is model code of conduct violations. So here there has been mistrust on whether the MCC guidelines has been followed properly during the elections. Next is the involvement of fake news and misinformation. So having fake news through the social media and having deep fake creation can adhere the election process to run smoothly. Next is the voter apathy and urban disengagement. So there have been lower turnouts of votes in the urban areas, especially in spite of many awareness campaigns. And next is having election expenditure monitoring. So there has been mistrust on whether the given funded money is being transferred into a fair and free elections process. So these are the challenges discussed, and now let's look a way forward for it. So one of the way forward is the article in itself. There has been a gesture to bring in different parties to have a meeting to discuss about the consequences. So that we can take as one of the way forward to overlook these challenges. Next is strengthening the ECS autonomy. Next is bringing in curbing money and muscle power. So there is here inclusion of legal and political policies. Next is enhancing the EVMs and the VVPAT transparency. So here it brings in the usage of the 100% of the VVPAT. Next is having stricter action against the hate speech. So there needs to be legal and political reforms and policy reforms for such actions, and having stronger MCC implementation. So next is finally countering the fake news through having the fact check mechanism in the social media. So there is countering of the fake news. Hello everyone, now look into this news, the dangerous illusion caused by the development rankings. So here the article mainly criticizes the Human Development Index, or commonly known as the HDI, as it doesn't consider the environmental degradation done for the human development and how there is unsustainable models of progress, and it doesn't consider the sustainable practices. So in light of this article, first let's see a mains practice question. How do the climate change and environmental degradation impact the HDI? Suggest strategies for sustainable human development in India. So here I ask these students to put in their comment answer, and it will be reviewed for this question. So let us look into first what is Human Development Index, or the HDI. So it is the summary index of the measure of the average of these three key dimensions, which includes health, education and standard of living. So here HDI can be considered as the geometric mean. So here mean is nothing but the average. So here it brings in the numerical average of the normalized indices of these three dimensions, that is the health, education and standard of living. So here the publisher of this report is the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, under the HDI, which is published per year. So these are the criteria among these three key dimensions. When it comes to health, it is the long and healthy life. When it comes to education, knowledge, and when it comes to the standard of living, how a decent standard of living is being provided. So this is the indices for the HDI. Now let us look into the limitations of the HDI. So HDI not only today, but it has been criticized even before, as it doesn't considers many other aspects. So first let us see what are these aspects. First, it ignores the inequalities. So here it brings in a limitation of how it does not take in account of the disparities of the people when it comes to these same income categories in itself, because here to measure the HDI, income is one of the criteria. So here it brings in inequality by not taking into account of the disparities present in the income communities or in the income categories. Next is no consideration of sustainability. So here one of the main criticism when it comes to the HDI is how it does not intake the environmental degradation and other environmental problems like the carbon emissions and so on. So there is no focus on sustainable development. Next, it has limited economic representation. So what is economic representation? So here the HDI takes in the account of the GNI, that is the gross national income. So here it takes in account of the income, that is the gross national income brings in the average of the income by each of the resident in a country, whereas it doesn't consider the wealth of the country, that is the total assets of the nation. So here thus it brings in a narrow representation, economic representation, where it doesn't include the wealth of the country. Next, it excludes human rights and freedom. So here it only takes in account of the income generation and other key standards, that is the health and education. But here it excludes human rights and freedom, such as the other factors like political, social, economical, other gender factors, other war related factors and so on. So finally it does not assess the quality of services. So it only takes the numerical mean, that is the average mean of the three key dimensions given, but it doesn't assess the quality of those three dimensions. They are not seeing whether the health services of the country is it accessible, next education has its accessibility, or next the standard of living has the accessibility even within the categories of different income generators. So these are the key limitations found in the HDI. So here, since the HDI has been criticized a lot, the UN brought in a alternative report or index, that is the Planetary Pressures Adjusted Human Development Index. So it is known as the PHDI, which was introduced in 2020. So here it stands as an alternative where they taken these factors into account. So let's see what are these. First, it adjusts for the environmental impact. So here it brings in adjustment of the environmental impact, such as including the carbon emissions per capita and also other material footprints. Next, it reflects intergenerational inequality. So here they take in the account of the sustainable development and how the environmental degradation holds sustainability for the future generation or not. Next, it declines with higher planetary resources pressure. So here, if the PHDI is higher, it declines below the HDI. So here, on overall, the HDI also decreases. So the main idea is to keep accountability or keep hold of the HDI when it comes to the economic degradations. So how it is calculated? It uses an adjustment factor. So here it is calculated as HDI into 1 minus the index of the planetary pressures adjusted human development index. So here they take in account of the environmental strains, which has led to the human development index. So here when they are calculating human development index and discount of the economical degradation, how much is being provided. So that is the adjustment factor. So here, as I told before, it brings in accountability of the human development index in reference to the environmental degradation. So finally, it encourages sustainable development as the end, as its main goal is to bring a balance between the environment as well as the human development. So it should go hand in hand. So if the PHDI increases, it decreases the HDI on a whole. So now we need to know a need for the alternative model. So here, comparing India, there are many other middle income countries offer better models of sustainable development. So here in HDI, we can see India ranks 134th place, and countries like Costa Rica, which ranks 64, and country like Sri Lanka ranks 78. So comparing India, these countries are middle income countries, but still they make a higher rank in the HDI. So here Costa Rica has achieved high life expectancy and literacy, and Sri Lanka's investment in social welfare and environmental sustainability have brought in alternative models and brought in sustainable developed models where it leads to progress. So here not only they take in the value of money, but they also take in other factors when it comes to the dimensions. So what is the lesson for India? So comparing with other countries, we should also know, we should bring in criteria and we should bring in arguments which is suitable for our country India, as it comprises 1.4 billion people, and we can't afford to mimic or to generate like the high income nations on the consumptions pattern. So even in many COPs conducted, we as a country, we put in our arguments on how it is difficult to be representing the developed as well as the developing countries. So here it is a bit constrained for us to mimic high income nations consumption patterns. So first we must seek alternative development pathways, so that first we bring a balance between the environmental and with the human development in reference to the social justice of the people. So here sustainable and equitable growth should be the focal point. So thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you're at the end of this video. So don't forget to give a like, comment and a share. And to further not to miss any other contents, subscribe to our channel. Thank you and have a great day.